A room without books is like a body without a soul. Times are bad. Children no longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book. In times of war, the law falls silent. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it. Friendship improves happiness, and abates misery, by doubling our joys, and dividing our grief. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. For there is but one essential justice which cements society, and one law which establishes this justice. This law is right reason, which is the true rule of all commandments and prohibitions. Whoever neglects this law, whether written or unwritten, is necessarily unjust and wicked. The authority of those who teach is often an obstacle to those who want to learn. The life given us, by nature is short, but the memory of a well-spent life is eternal. While there's life, there's hope. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. Politicians are not born, they are excreted. The face is a picture of the mind with the eyes as its interpreter. The shifts of fortune test the reliability of friends. To study philosophy is nothing but to prepare one's self to die. I criticize by creation, not by finding fault. It is not by muscle, speed, or physical dexterity that great things are achieved, but by reflection, force of character, and judgment. What is morally wrong can never be advantageous, even when it enables you to make some gain that you believe to be to your advantage. The mere act of believing that some wrongful course of action constitutes an advantage is pernicious. We must not say every mistake is a foolish one. Life is nothing without friendship. It is foolish to tear one's hair in grief, as though sorrow would be made less by baldness. It is a great thing to know your vices. I am not ashamed to confess I am ignorant of what I do not know. Your enemies can kill you, but only your friends can hurt you. Our span of life is brief, but is long enough for us to live well and honestly. The enemy is within the gates. It is with our own luxury, our own folly, our own criminality that we have to contend. The function of wisdom is to discriminate between good and evil. Knowledge which is divorced from justice may be called cunning rather than wisdom. Where is there dignity unless there is honesty? God's law is right reason. When perfectly understood, it is called wisdom. When applied by government in regulating human relations, it is called justice. To be content with what we possess is the greatest and most secure of riches. It is the peculiar quality of a fool to perceive the faults of others and to forget his own. What one has, one ought to use, and whatever he does, he should do with all his might. A mind without instruction can no more bear fruit than can a field, however fertile, without cultivation. Time obliterates the fictions of opinion and confirms the decisions of nature. We are bound by the law, so that we may be free. Diseases of the soul are more dangerous and more numerous than those of the body. We must not only obtain wisdom, we must enjoy her. Hours and days and months and years go by, the past returns no more, and what is to be we cannot know, but whatever the time gives us in which we live, we should therefore be content. Men decide far more problems by hate, love, lust, rage, sorrow, joy, hope, fear, illusion or some other inward emotion, than by reality, authority, any legal standard, judicial precedent, or statute. Nothing stands out so conspicuously, or remains so firmly fixed in the memory, as something which you have blundered. Natural ability without education has more often raised a man to glory and virtue, than education without natural ability. History is the witness that testifies to the passing of time. It illumines reality, vitalizes memory, provides guidance in daily life and brings us tidings of antiquities. Memory is the treasury and guardian of all things. A mental stain can neither be blotted out by the passage of time nor washed away by any waters. In a republic this rule ought to be observed, that the majority should not have the predominant power. I have always been of the opinion that unpopularity earned by doing what is right is not unpopularity at all, but glory. Here is a man whose life and actions the world has already condemned, yet whose enormous fortune has already brought him acquittal. The mind becomes accustomed to things by the habitual sight of them, and neither wonders nor inquires about the reasons for things it sees all the time. Memory is the treasury and guardian of all things. A mental stain can neither be blotted out by the passage of time nor washed away by any waters. In a republic this rule ought to be observed, that the majority should not have the predominant power. I have always been of the opinion that unpopularity earned by doing what is right is not unpopularity at all, but glory. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started.